fresh out the box. Stop, look and watch. Ready yet? Get set. It's all that.
Hey guys, y'all know the vibes. OD Vibes with Me Too Live. Your favorite music influencer from the one and only Boston City of Champs, because all we do is win, no matter what. You know, we here, we live with someone who understands what it means to win in the city, for the city, and from the city. Give it up for Yelena.
Oh, thank you. I am so grateful to be here today. And I'm so grateful to be have the chance to connect with you. So thank you.
I'm so happy for you to be here as well. I'm so happy. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, of course.
So, can you share your journey to becoming a young Latina artist and, winning the Boston Music Awards as well? And talk about that.
So I started singing when I was 7 years old. And then from there, I would say I started, working on my music career back in, 2020. Well, actually, 2019 was when I was working on my first single, and I released it year of 2020. And then, unfortunately, the pandemic happened.
Right.
And then,
so it was right before the pandemic when you released it?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. It was released in January 2020, and then the pandemic happened, around, February, March? Around there, right? So, unfortunately, during that time, I couldn't really do the whole promoting thing, doing the shows, but also I was new to everything. So I didn't really know, all I was focused on was okay, let me put music out. Right, and from there, things will fall into place. And luckily, the studio that I was going to at the time, the engineer I was working with, his name is David. Shout out to him.
Shout out David.
He still had his studio open. So I was still able to go in, record music or whatever maybe, which was really cool. But at the same time, it's everything was closed, so I couldn't really go out and network with people and stuff like that, but just utilize social media to my advantage.
Right.
And then once everything started opening up, that's when I started to have the opportunity to perform and stuff like that and connect with people. And then from there, everything just started to
fall into place.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. No, it definitely fell into place and, coming together, and it's definitely there to the point where, you literally won Boston Music Award for the year 2022.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel and that's crazy, that 2020 was kind of your first, show to the whole world, you know what I mean?
Pretty
And, that's kind of still a short amount of time. Sometimes for people, it takes them, years upon years upon years. So just for you to be able to put your foot on the gas during that this short period, and then being able to gain that recognition it's an honor, you know what I mean? So how has that recognition kind of impacted your career and stuff like that, especially being so early in your music career?
I would say it definitely started kind of making people I guess you could say certain people, it kind of made them be okay, let me check her stuff out, or let me see what she's all about. And then for other people, they're it makes sense why you won the award, So, but I definitely want to say though, winning the award, in a sense, it really helped me. I always feel weird about mentioning it, or because there's people who are you always gotta mention you won Latin Artist of the Year, but I don't I don't want to feel I'm boasting about it, or I won Latin Artist of the Year. You need to, you need to talk to me, right, or something like that. I like to keep, stay humble, I guess you could say.
For sure.
But yeah, I feel that award really helped me, because around the time that I found out that I was nominated for that award, I was going through it. Last year, 2022, it was a very, very, I don't want to use the word dark, but it was a very, it was a very tough year. And unfortunately, there were times where I really, had doubts about myself, about my career, and sometimes I felt like I didn't want to, like, you know, like, trigger warning, but sometimes I felt like I didn't want to be here in this world anymore. Like, I just wanted to fully escape everything, you know. And then at the time, I also was in a very bad relationship that added to what I was already feeling, that added to, like, you know, the doubts that I was having and the insecurities that I felt like were coming up out of nowhere. And you know, it was a very detrimental time for me last year. And when I was told by one of my friends, Patricia, you know, shout out to Patty.
Shout out Patty.
Who at the time, she was like, you know, she was like helping me, like managing me and stuff. I was just like, wait, what? And then I remember, for those who are religious, you know, I remember like kind of looking up and like talking to God and being like, so, okay, I guess this is your way of being like, you know, just keep going. Like, I know right now you're kind of feeling weak, and, you know, there's, you know, you have those days where you're feeling weak and stuff and you don't want to keep going, but, you know, like keep going,
keep
you know,
going. You're on the right path.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So like that award, it definitely helped me, to be honest. Like, I was even thinking about it the other day, and I was just like, yeah, like I'm very grateful, because it really helped me when I wasn't such in a good place.
Right. Oh, like, I understand, like, how sometimes, you know, things can get rough, but, like, may seem cliche to people, but it's like God sometimes gives his hardest battles to his toughest soldiers. Kind of like, you know, people saying it
very
just,
true.
You know, like, I definitely agree. Like, it's almost like, I don't want to say like almost like a test, but it's almost like a reaffirmation of like faith, kind of like a reaffirmation of faith of like, I don't know. It doesn't touch my heart. Like, I don't know. I'm just like, no, like it God will really show you a reaffirmation of like faith, and like that you are like blessed, and like you are like where you're kind of like you're meant to be. Like, it's almost like
you're following your purpose.
You're following your purpose, you know? And so yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Like, and I feel like that's also in a sense what awards in a sense are about. Like, it's like, it is cool to like, in a sense, be a representation, but it also just shows like sometimes like what you're doing, you're doing something like right. You're doing something right.
Like someone notices.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And I'm grateful for who, you know, for the person that advocated for me, and like, because I learned there's a whole process with like the nominations and everything. Right. And, you know, I'm grateful for the people that believe in me, because like it's, when I tell you, like last year I was in a space where I was just like, I was feeling very doubtful about myself, about my music. My ex-partner, he like was belittling me, stuff like that on certain occasions. And it was just a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for those who really like were empowering me, who were there for me, and still are till this day, and who really gave me that support. Because like at the end of the day, like I don't think I could ever give up on my music career, or even give up on myself, because I really believe that I was brought into this world to do that, you know, or I was brought into this world to create an impact with music. And that's why God gave me the gift that he gave me. Right.
Yes.
And so I just, like I you know, I'm just very grateful for how things, you know, ended up playing out, the award, everything. And, and, you know, there's more to come. So
more to come. So, you know, you talked about like advocacy and stuff like that. So obviously part of the advocacy just came off of like people just noticing like your craft and like your gifts. But also I feel like just in general, sometimes advocacy and just, you know, like just being in the music industry comes with networking and stuff like that. So can you share, like you mentioned like Patty and stuff like that, and David that you work with, is there any other like experiences of like networking and building connections and just collaborating with like notable artists, or just people or just anyone that you feel like were important in your career?
There's like a good amount of people, so I'm gonna try to take my time to remember. But I would say biggest person that pops into my head right now is Skip the Dip. He's also another Latin artist.
Yep.
Shout out to him.
And you had a song with him, right, as well?
Yes, Caribeña. And he's definitely someone that I've been building a connection with. I would say since 2020, actually.
Nice.
When I was just like starting out, and you know, shout out to Brian, who's his manager. But yeah, we always talk about all the time, like you know, like in regards to music and how to go about doing things, and you know, connecting with the right people and stuff. And he's giving me advice and stuff like that. So I really appreciate him. Like, he's like a brother to me. And like other people I can think of, like, oh my gosh, like the engineer I work with right now, Jay Rose, like he's definitely someone who's given me great advice, and it has been helpful in certain aspects. So, you know, shout out to him. And like, there's so many other people, like, that, again, like, I'm really grateful for their support. Like, you know, Paul from BAMS Fest, shout out to him. That's someone I've been recently connecting with. Shout out to Roomba 97.7, Chocolate. That's someone else too. Like, there's just, for anyone that I did not name, do not take it personal. But because there's just so many people, and me as a person, I like to give my flowers to everyone.
For sure.
It's not just specific person, but like, it's just, you know, like the artists that I work with, the female artists, the male artists that I know that know me, the people who be messaging me on a daily basis, the people who I meet at the shows. Like, I'm very grateful for all of those people, especially the people who come up to me and they're like, yo, I like your music, or this and that, and I'm like, oh, thank you. Like, I didn't even know, you know, like, and yeah, like, I feel like I always say this, but like, I literally am grateful for that, you know, because that's something that it really helps with me to keep on going. For sure.
Yeah, support is definitely key.
Yeah. So hopefully I answered the question right.
No, yeah, you did. Like, I'm honestly, like, you made me just realize, like, no, like I'm a person, I do like to give people their flowers. So like, and like, it's great hearing that, like, how these people, like, the different parts that they play, and just in general how, like, so much people, like, play a part. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, people play a part. And do you feel like, so, like, before 2020, you weren't really, like, you didn't really network with these people. So, like, do you feel like, you built these relationships in such a short period of time with just those people and just people in general, like, from going out after, kind of, with 2020? That's dope. That's cool. That's dope. That's cool. And that's key. And honestly, I can kind of relate, because my first couple of years, like, were such prime years. Like, it's like, now you have me feeling like I have to say all my flowers to my peoples too. And I, like, cause like, no, like, shout out Trippy, shout out Big Belly. Like, those people were so vital, like, who even believed in me to, like, you know, like, just perform, you know, certain places. Shout out Hefe, shout out Tone. Like, I can go on too. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? So, like, yeah, there be people that you meet. Shout out West. Like, I'm sorry, that was one of the first. No, but like, honestly, but like, no, shout out to, you know, people that also been there that believed in me in the beginning. You know, because like, y'all believed in the dream, and you know, but like no, exactly same thing, same people I didn't name, but you know the vibe. No,
exactly. And I definitely want to say one person I want to name, and he met me when I was really first starting out, Kendall. He's about to drop an amazing like music app. Called Drop Zone.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Shout out to Kendall. He is someone I definitely want to make sure I name now that I remember, because he's someone that really saw me like in the beginning, like in the beginning stages, when I was just like first, you know, really like starting out, like still trying to figure things out, still trying to figure out how I wanted to go about my music and stuff. He was the one that like spoke to me about Kateria and Matt, and you know, like you know, and I'm grateful to have worked with them and stuff. Especially shout out, especially Grind Jam Session. Great turnout this weekend. But yeah, no, that he and people like that, like who are still like around and still you know, like kind of like you're still in communication, you're still building connection with them, or still connected with them, you know, during your journey is amazing.
It is,
when like they see you from here and then they see you up there, like it's just I'm grateful for people like that. And like that's why I said, like, don't take it personal for those who I didn't name, because it's just, there's just so many people who've shown me love, and like that's why I tell people all the time, like, I'm grateful for you. I appreciate you. I'm sending you a lot of love, because it really helps me so much.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. So and that you mentioned a lot of Boston people, but I also know, and I just recently found out that you also grew up in Florida.
I did, yeah.
Yep.
I did.
Yeah. So how has your environment influenced your music and artistic expression?
Well, let me think about this. I definitely would say, I mean, it's impacted me in a certain way with like the experiences that I've had being in these different environments.
Right. And then, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but also knowing that like, you know, you're Cuban and Dominican.
Yes,
so like also how do those influences like influence you?
Well, I would say with that, like at the end of the day, like, you know, I'm a Latina and I'm like, why wouldn't I not want to like create like a fusion with Latin and R&B, you know, like, cause like I'm proud to be a Latina. I'm proud to be Cuban Dominican. I'm proud, you know, of, you know, my parents' cultures and like everything they taught me and the values that, you know, I hold on to because of them, you know, and I'm like, why wouldn't I want to put that into my music? You know what I'm saying? Because music as an artist, the music you create, it's coming from you, you know, it's a whole nother you in a sense, right? That people can get a piece of. Yes. So I just, like, for that reason, that's why right now I'm in a place where I really want to experiment more with the Latin and R&B, but also like eventually delve into like the Afrobeat side of things too, because obviously I recognize, you know, I am an Afro-Latina and stuff like that. And but I definitely say with that aspect, like that's definitely how my culture or heritage has influenced me when it comes to my music, and then even my environment wise, it's the songwriting, like experiences I've had being in different environments, or, you know, experiences I had with different people in those environments, you know, that's how I've created like the music that I've, you know, put out and stuff, you know, ideas that have come about. So
that definitely makes sense. And I just want to add, like, literally, like, I don't want to say like music is an American thing because that sounds crazy, but I just want to say, like, in terms of I feel like when it comes to entertainment, it's always been like, even that's one of the biggest economy that America, literally United States, has. So, because like if you think about it, look at how so much time has changed. When we look at genres that, you know, if you were to go on iTunes or something in 2005, when you look at genres, it was always like hip hop, R&B. But then like when it came to music that was outside the USA, kinda, it was just worlds. Where like now, other people from different places and cultures are able to like literally kind of have almost in a sense their own genre kind of, you know what I'm trying to say? So I feel like it is, like me being a Nigerian as well, like I do feel like when I do in a sense release music in the future, I do want to somehow figure out how to fuse that in there as well too, because, you know, it's important. And I feel like it also is helping people that are who are literally, because I don't know, like sometimes like being in this, we're in a first world country, we got to say it how it is. So it's like, we also, I feel like, are helping open up the doors for those people who are in those communities who are still living there to be able to feel like someone from like my culture or who understands my culture is basically broadcasting it to the world. So like I feel like I can do the same thing. So you know, so it's key. It's very much key, and it also just brings out your tradition and like just for people to understand. You know what I'm trying to say, and show how much we share in commonality between different cultures and stuff like that. So it's very much key. You know. Yeah,
and it just creates an impact. Like at the end of the day, you know.
For sure.
So it's just it's just like the more and more that I work on music, the more and more that I really want to really make an effort to experiment, you know, and to create different sounds and you know, make sure like there's Latin sounds to it, but there's also like world sounds to it, you know, stuff like that, you know, because my goal is to be, well, not to be, but I am an international artist, you know, that is my goal, and that's what I want to stand for, and that's how I want to appear in the world, you know, and it's a really big, you know, dream, obviously a big thing to say, but that's what I feel. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Period. And and that's what matters.
Exactly.
No, for sure. That's definitely key. Can you share like some artists that kind of like have influenced you in a sense? Because when it comes to like your sound, it's very like soulful and emotional driven, and it makes sense basically off of what you've been explaining. But is there any artists that you like were inspired by, you liked, or just,
Well, I would say, I didn't mention this in the beginning, but I would say the biggest artist that will always be an inspiration to me, and even like it comes to a point where I kind of look up to them in regards to like how to be as a person, is Selena.
Nice, yeah.
And thankfully, to my dad, shout out to my dad. He was the one that introduced me to her when I was, 7 years old. And that's how my love of music came about, because, I watched the movie, and then the time when I watched it, I didn't even know unfortunately that she is no longer alive. And I fell in love. Like, I fell in love with just like the aspect of like the performing just seeing her perform,
her story,
the way the way like she carried herself, the dynamic with her family, how her family was involved, and like the way she was with the people, like her fans, and the music. Like obviously the music she made was like Tex-Mex, like Tejano music, but and she was obviously Mexican, but it's just like everything that she did, I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to do that. Like something, as soon as I watched the movie, like something just clicked for me. And it was at a very young age again. But yeah, Selena for sure. Other artists I feel like that I look up to for inspiration wise, or even music wise, like definitely Christina Aguilera, definitely Adele, Etta James. There's like so many of them. Like
it's one of those things again, right?
Yeah, no, there's just literally like so many. But like, but yeah, definitely, Selena, definitely number one. Yeah,
that's dope. So, walk us through kind of like your creative process when it comes to like songwriting and singing. Like, how do you even bring those emotions into your music? Because you can explain, but I feel like like that's why I kind of asked the artist, because like you kind of remind me of like not Shakira, but more like soulful, but then like kind of like almost like Lana Del Rey, but not like too dark, but you know what I'm trying to say. So I don't know, like there's different like pieces that you're kind of hitting, so walk us through your creative process if you can.
So my creative process, like when it comes to the songwriting, I don't really like sit down and write the lyrics. It just comes to me.
Okay.
There are times, like, I mean, it always happens, but where like I'll just think of a song like randomly. Like today when I was like getting ready, like I started thinking of this song that the Jackson 5 sang. It was like something about the boogie, like give it up on the
oh my god, that's one of my favorite Michael Jackson. And that about the sunshine. And
I was just like kind of creating a whole remix to it. Period. And I recorded myself. I'm like I forget, it's on my phone, but
girl, we're here. I know. Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
That's one of my
and it just
favorite.
Came in my mind randomly. It was literally as I was getting ready, and then I was just like, give it up on the boogie. Like, I just started doing a remix. Like, I know you want that sunshine. And then just like kind of creating my own lyrics to it. Like, as if, I was creating a remix to it. And that's really my creative process when it comes to like songwriting, And then when it comes to the recording aspect of it, like, I really like to take my time. When it comes to recording a song, like I'm kind of in a sense like a perfectionist. Like I don't like to just rush things. I like to really take my time to record and to make sure that the music sounds good, because at the end of the day, yes, the music is for me, but the music is for y'all. Like the music is for the fans, it's for the public. So I really, really want my music to be impactful. Like I want my music to be timeless,
For sure.
And I'm just praying that, that I end up, meeting more people who can really help me create music that is timeless, because I want to leave a legacy. Like I don't, I feel that that's what I was meant to do. And, I want my music to be that, you know?
That's the key to life. So I definitely understand. Like one of my mantras is like your legacy already exists. And I understand that dynamic of trying to find pieces and people to like basically connect for what's already supposed to be there.
Exactly.
So I definitely understand. So you sing, you songwrite. Do you only songwrite for yourself, or do you songwrite for other people too?
So I've recently been songwriting for other people.
Okay.
Which is pretty fun.
Right, yeah.
I don't mind. Sometimes I kind of doubt myself in my songwriting skills, but I would say I'm pretty good for the most part. But I definitely, I'm getting to a point where I would love to work with other songwriters to help me with even my own songs.
For sure, yeah.
But I love helping like others. Yeah.
That's dope.
It's pretty fun, yeah.
So in addition to, your singing, your songwriting, you're also like a model, you're pursuing into modeling.
Yes.
So how did you venture into the world of modeling?
Modeling started when I was very young, the same as music. But I kind of took modeling a little bit more serious than music because I didn't mention this. I mentioned this in my other interviews, but, I'll mention it again. So at the age of 7, when I started to realize oh wow, like I really want to be a singer, or like I really love music. I started to realize, not started to realize. One day I realized that I have stage fright. I got one day, the very first time I performed in front of people, it was like when I was like in elementary school. I was gonna sing it was like the Star Spangled Banners for my school's talent show.
Okay.
And I remember when me and my classmate went to audition, I literally like froze, on the stage. I couldn't open my mouth, and that's where the stage fright kind of came about. And then ever since that day, I was like, never again. So for the longest time, I kind of avoided like singing in public or actually like doing music. But then around that time, that's when I started delving into like the acting and modeling world.
For sure. Yeah.
And then I became a part of like different agencies. I forget the one that I was a part of when I lived in Florida, but the one that I was part of here in Mass, which was called John Casablanca's. I know some people are familiar with it.
Okay, yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's where I started to really learn about modeling and runway and all that kind of stuff. And then I definitely, in middle school, I was doing a lot more, like doing the photo shoots and everything. And then I took it a lot more serious when I was like in college, so not too long ago, to be honest. But other than that, I feel like modeling is also another outlet for me. I love, doing photo shoots. I've done fashion shows. I love doing fashion shows, but I definitely love more so doing like print and commercial, like, taking pictures.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
Dressing up and all that kind of stuff.
Right,
That's like a whole another outlet for me, but that's definitely another career that I definitely want to, be successul in. Because
sure.
it's like, I love it. It's
no,
fun.
yeah. No, seriously. No, I agree. Cause I've done, I've modeled before. I've done fashion shows, even like beauty competitions. Like,
me too. I did it once.
Yeah, we there. So and I definitely feel like it overall just complements, like, being an artist, and it's like modeling is also a form of art, it's like,
fashion,
so it all connects. So it definitely intersects and definitely influences each other always, and that's what, that's just part of the journey.
Exactly.
So, I also feel like, beauty and just in general, modeling, just whatever, beauty is just it has such a big impact though in the music industry, what I'm trying to say. So how do you navigate the pressure and expectations related to body image in the music industry, How do you, cause like, I just feel like, especially with women, like that's the thing, like I feel like, I don't want to say it's so easy for men or just so easy for women, but like, I just feel like sometimes like men, like when it comes to men rapping or just being in the music industry, they're literally focused on what they can, like the music or like, like obviously they do care about their looks, but it's like, I feel like for us, sometimes it's like.
Sometimes we don't really expect for a rapper to be so attractive.
Right.
At least that's how I feel.
Like, I just feel like sometimes it's like they're more so not really focusing, like they do focus on our music. I feel like now kind of they're more so focused on music, but like sometimes it's like there's just so much pressure of everything. And I mean, like that's just what it comes with being a woman, there's just, beauty hurts. Beyonce, she said, she was talking, but it's like, how do you navigate the pressure and expectations to body image in the music industry?
Oh boy. I mean, I feel like times definitely have changed. I feel like we're in a place where like people are being more accepting of all different sizes, but obviously there's still those people that want to comment and
like
say
too skinny, too big, too like too dark, too light, too like what?
Exactly.
So
but I feel like no matter what, I really do try to just be true to myself. Like there's times like, you know, I stepped into my natural hair journey like when I was in high school, you know, when I graduated high school and into college, and you know, like I have braids, but I have naturally curly hair, and everything when it comes to me, I love just being natural. You know, I love, you know, having natural curly hair. I love the fact that my body's natural. I love the fact that, you know, what I am is natural, and that's how God created me. Yeah. And I feel like I would be doing a disservice to God if I was kind of, in a sense, like devaluing like my naturalness, my natural beauty, right? And trust me, it's taken a lot of time for me to get to the place where I am, and even sometimes too, like I do question, like, you know, like, oh gosh, like, do I look too big to others? Because right now I'm also, I work out and stuff, and I try to like maintain a good. You
look good. I'm gonna tell you that you look good. You look good. Period.
Thank you. No, but I try to. I definitely take care of myself, you know, as much as I can. But sometimes I kind of slack, but it's okay.
Right.
Not everyone's perfect, you know.
Right, we all do.
But it took me some time to really, really like embrace my own beauty, and I feel like that's what it's about when it comes to music industry. Like it's nice when you see someone that doesn't look like everyone else. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and that's all. And when it comes to music, like you want to be yourself. You don't want to look like everyone else. You want to stand out. You want to be unique, you know? And I feel like I really, in a sense, I kind of pride myself into that, because like, and everyone else should, because it's like, again, why do you want to look like everyone else? If we all looked like each other, this life would be boring, you know. Like,
no, that's facts. That's facts.
But again, like, to those who kind of struggle with trying to find their, you know, they're trying to embrace their beauty, you know, again, it really took me some time, because there was a point when I was very young where I really didn't like the fact that, you know, I didn't recognize back then that I'm meant to be a curvy woman. Back then, I was like, I felt like I was always the biggest one out of everyone, and I always looked at my other friends, and I'm like, oh, but I know I can be skinny like her. And then unfortunately, that's when, I don't really talk about this often, but that's when I fell into an eating disorder. Like I would I would starve myself, or, you know, I would, you know, trigger warning, I would like make myself throw up, you know? So it's just like, and I'm glad that I overcame that, and that wasn't like that time in my life, it didn't really last that long, because I knew what I was doing was very detrimental to me. And even when sometimes I don't like to look at pictures of myself when I looked so skinny, you know, but it's just like, it took me a long time, you know, it took me a long time. And that's why whenever I had people ask me like, oh, how are you able to, you know, embrace the way that you look, especially being like curvy, or, you know, some people are like, oh, you're a big girl. And, you know, and honestly, people need to be aware of the things they say, but I don't take it personal, but like, it's like, but like I tell people, I'm like, you know, I just really just changed my mindset. You know, I really just
living your truth.
Exactly. I really was just living my truth and telling myself, like, you know, it's okay if I don't look like everyone else. It's okay if my body's not as skinny as that girl, or my body's not slim thick. Like, I am beautiful.
Like, facts.
Yeah, I am beautiful no matter how I look. And with the way I look, I know I can get anyone, you know. But again, like, it took a while, and I'm still like, I guess you could say, like, still learning and still really like building that confidence to be like, no, I look good, and there's nothing wrong with me, or you know. So.
No, facts. No, that's so key. That's beautiful. And like, I definitely, like, I feel like all of us women, we can all relate to, like, just in a sense trying to fit some type of standard, in general, when we really have to realize that each individual, you are your own standard, kind of. Exactly. You know, I'm gonna say, like, you know, once you recognize like who you are, once you recognize like your beauty and everything, like, that's when like your beauty like gleams times 100, you know. So I definitely think that's something that, like, you know, people should just you know, like, just more so walk into that journey more, because you know, and like, I'm a person, like, because like, really, if you think about it, the world, everyone views the world in different lens.
Yes.
So like, it's almost like you have to love yourself first, because if you don't love yourself, how is other people, in a sense, going to 100% love you?
Exactly.
You know what I'm trying to say?
It starts with you.
It starts within. And like, you know, because, and another thing, like I had to realize, like even with myself, like, yeah, people might make comments like, oh, you're too skinny, or like, you know, like, do you need the gym, like that, just making comments.
Your body's nice.
You know, yeah. So I had to realize though, like sometimes, like I said, everyone views life in different lens. People see women who get plastic surgery, then some people like it, some people don't. Some people see people without it, some people like it, some people don't. So it's just kind of like everyone, I realize, is going to have their preference. Everyone deserves to have their preference. But, you know, at the end of the day, I am me.
Exactly.
So, yeah. That's what matters, and that's
exactly.
what counts.
That's what it is. And then when it comes to the music, like you just, at the end of the day, you want to stand out. I know nowadays.
Yeah, facts.
It's like, at the end of the day, nowadays it's just like a popularity thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like uniqueness is there still, you know, like like people, it's really important for people to just really, really not like try to be like everyone else or look like everyone else, you know.
Facts.
But yeah.
No, yeah, that's key. And honestly, I feel like this kind of connects with something that I watch kind of, in a sense, from people that like I admire, like Haley Gamba, Jay. I don't even know. I can't say her YouTube name, but I love her, and just other YouTubers, because I'm a big YouTube person. Like I watch people, like I love YouTube. Shout out YouTube. You know, talk about the concept of like dark feminine, and like, you know, it has gained a lot of recognition and like, you know, these past couple years and stuff. So how does that concept kind of resonate with you? Because it almost like kind of what you're talking about with like beauty and just like just in general, like overcoming certain things, kind of I feel like connects with that ideology and stuff. So like, what does that dark feminine mean to you?
Well, I normally don't really use dark feminine, but like what I usually use is like divine feminine or divine masculine, you know, because that's, you know, those are, that's like the embodiment. But I guess you could say, but dark feminine to me, when I think of dark feminine, I just think of a person who's just really stepping into their power.
Okay.
That's just really what it is. At least that's how I see it. And dark feminine, when you're stepping into that, like that, into that energy, you're just really, really just putting yourself at a high pedestal, you know, like humbly. You are recognizing your worth. You are recognizing what you deserve. You are recognizing, you know, you are valuing every aspect of yourself, right? And you're really going deep into what makes you and identifying what makes you so beautiful and embracing that. I really feel, I strongly feel like that's what dark feminine means. But also like on the other aspect of that is like, you know, you stepping into your sensual energy, because that's kind of what I think of when I think of dark feminine. Like it's just like, I'm not saying like using like, I don't know how to explain it, but like kind of like just really using that sensual, like that sensual aspect of you as a person. Like, you know, you're looking good, you're looking sexy, you're taking care of yourself. Like there's just like this whole, like there's just like this aura about you, right? And when I think of dark feminine, I kind of think of like Megan Fox or even like Angelina Jolie. You know, like that like sensual, mysterious type of, you know, type of energy. And like, you know, you keep yourself, you protect your energy from others, and you know, like that's just what I see, and that's definitely what I'm right now with my healing journey. What I'm what I'm currently like practicing and working on.
And I definitely agree, and I feel like it is important kind of to have both light and dark femme in you know, and I feel like at the end of the day they sometimes just in a sense kind of fuse together. But like, yeah, for me, how I see it is kind of like confidence, you know, the way you talk, you know, the way you carry yourself in a sense, and like almost being unapologetically doing so.
Exactly.
You know, it's not like in a sense where you're trying to disturb the room or like in a sense like be the loudest in the room to like draw attention to yourself in like a, I don't even know how to put it way, but like, you know, but it's more so in a sense like elegancy, or just like, you know, kind of just how you carry yourself, kind of like, you know, just carry yourself, and just recognizing like, you know, I say this is a mantra that I also say a lot. It's kind of like, even when you hop on a plane, they tell you if in an emergency, you know, you have to put on your own mask first before you help anyone else.
Everyone else,
and I just feel like that's kind of like also kind of what dark time means, and just in general how sometimes people should go about life.
Putting yourself
first, but like putting yourself first so that you can be in the good position to help others, and like. That can go about it so many different ways, but like recognizing, like, you know, like there are certain things that, you know, you need to do in order to be the best that you can be for the world, for others, for yourself, back to it all, you know?
Exactly.
So,
like creating an impact and like being an inspiration in a sense. Yeah.
No, yeah. So for sure, you know, it's key, and, you know, creating balance in life. And so do you have any like future plans that you know that you want to do with your music in a sense, or just like in general on this journey to becoming like an international artist?
I mean, my plan right now, so like my biggest plan is to continuously network with people, continuously travel the world. My goal is definitely, I don't know, I mean, I know people sometimes are like, oh, you need to create like a set date or a deadline, because that's how, you know, kind of manifestation. But my goal, I would say, I'm gonna say this, my goal within 2 years, by that time, I will be traveling around the world.
Period.
And making a huge name for myself.
Period.
And so to get there right now, traveling, you know, here in the U.S., eventually travel outside, continuously performing in different, you know, doing big shows, obviously putting out music. Like for this upcoming fall, I'm going to release my first EP, which I'm very excited about.
Nice.
Releasing more like Latin singles, eventually, hopefully like Latin fused or Afrobeat type of singles, doing features with other artists as well too, whether it's local or even like or famous. I would say like well known. And just like really just kind of like putting the seeds, you know, slowly and slowly, and then eventually it's gonna grow into a whole, you know, big tree. That's what I'm currently working on right now and stuff, and just continuously working.
Right. That's key. Love that. I'm excited, you know, to see the journey, be a part of the journey, and, you know, like just watch everything grow as well. So yeah, that's lovely. Before we head out, is there any good vibes of wisdom that you'd like to give people? This can be to, you know, a specific direct type of audience, or this can be to like the world. So
I would say the biggest advice I'll give is that everything you do in life, make sure it's with good intentions. Remember that you have a place in this world and you came into this world for a reason.
Yeah.
So always do things that not only would benefit you, but would benefit other people, you know, and always ground yourself and remind yourself who you are. And if you're in a point right now in your life where you're trying to figure out who you are, what your purpose is, dig deep. Take the time to get to know yourself better. Take the time. If you have to like isolate yourself, I mean, I wouldn't recommend that, but that's what works for you.
Sometimes you gotta.
If you have to isolate yourself to really dig deep and get to know yourself so that you can figure out, okay, like, what am I meant to do in this lifetime? Do it, right? Because we only live once. I mean, spiritually, we may live different past lives, but, you know, for those who just want to think 3D, like, we only live once. We only live once. Like, if you know. You only live once, and like, you really just want to live a purposeful life. You know, if you're in that mindset, and of course anyone can be in that mindset, but unfortunately there's some people who, you know, are living in their own reality. But for those who really want to grow into that mindset, it all starts with you. So take the time getting to know yourself, dig deep. And digging deep, it's going to be scary, don't get me wrong. But digging deep is really going to help you figure out, like, okay, this is what I was meant to do, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. And no matter whatever you want to do in this lifetime, you can do it. You know, as cliche as it sounds, like, you know, there's religious people out there like, oh, like not everyone's going to be successful, but anyone can be successful in their own way. Success looks different to every people, you know. For someone who, for like I say, like a woman who her success is to like have a successful like, you know, career, like having like a 9-to-5 and like, you know, climbing up the ladder and that specific career and then getting married and having kids.
Yeah.
So her success is that great. Or for me, success for me is to being at the top of the music industry, you know, and then eventually I hope to have a family once, you know, at that point and having kids.
Yeah.
That's success for me. And, you know, and vice versa. But so success is can be seen differently. And no matter what that looks for you, go after it, achieve it, because you are more than capable to achieve it. You are more than capable to become the person that you truly want to become. You are more than capable to bring value to others and bring value to yourself. And you're more than capable to learning how to love yourself, because at the end of the day, you are literally, how do I explain this? You are meant to be great. You are meant to do great things in this world, and you are meant to really just, you know, be, how do I explain this? You're really meant to create and do whatever you want to do, you know, whatever you love. Yeah. And I just feel like at the end of the day, life is beautiful and you can create the life that you want. And that's that.
Period. You give me purpose. JB. That was great. And thank you so much for that.
Yeah. And
honestly, guys, that's all the vibes. Mm-hmm. All the vibes when you're looking for vibes.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm grateful for you.
Of course. Thanks. And we out.